Back with Alden Chodash of AldenBoxing.com. This past Friday, Alden, on Showtime, Celestino Cabellero blows out Steve Molitor. Israel Vasquez, Rafael Marquez, names that have been mentioned for Cabellero in the near future. How do you think the big man stacks up against those two?
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think names that should be mentioned anywhere near Caballero. Caballero's a big guy. He knows how to beat up on smaller fighters who don't know how to find ways to work around Caballero's size, and that's all he is, just size. And his punching power comes from the leverage he gets. He's lanky. He doesn't look like a big puncher, but he just beats guys around. Caballero would have trouble with guys like Rafael Marquez and Israel Vasquez because these guys are pros. These guys have been fighting for a long time, and they've seen the likes of tall, rangy fighters, and they know how to negate weaknesses. And in the case of Caballero, there's so much weaknesses in him. And real professionals like Marquez and Israel Vasquez, if they ever got a chance to fight, Caballero would beat him up.
Okay, the only guy I could think of that fought Israel Vasquez that tall was Johnny Gonzalez. Johnny Gonzalez gave Vasquez a lot of trouble.
And Johnny Gonzalez knew how to fight.
True, but what are you telling me that Israel Vasquez can do against this long, lanky guy?
He can get inside, and as previously stated by Steve Farhood before the fight, Caballero has trouble against guys when they work their way inside. I mean, he's a lanky guy. He obviously doesn't look like the kind of guy that could fight you on the inside. He likes to beat you up on long range. And in Vasquez's case, I think he's far skilled enough to get on the inside of Caballero's wild punches.
You don't think Caballero will be able to keep him outside?
No, not really.
Okay. On Saturday, HBO, starting off things, was James Kirkland humiliating Ryan Vera. You're still not impressed with Kirkland, are you?
Well, I mean, he somewhat answered the questions that I had. He was able to extend a guy and still knock him out in the later rounds, maintain his power, retain it down the stretch of a fight. But, I mean, look at his opposition. It's Ryan Vera, who really was a one-dimensional fighter whose only dimension was mediocre at best. And Kirkland did what he was supposed to do, and I don't think he looked that impressive doing it anyways.
Okay. What do you think of Ricky Hatton, Paul Malignaggi?
Well, I mean, you got to give Malignaggi credit. He looked good early on, but the difference is one guy improved down the stretch, one guy figured his opponent out, and the other guy suffered down the stretch. One guy got figured out, and Ricky Hatton, you got to give him props. He found a way around Malignaggi's slick style, and he just made him look really, really bad. Or if Malignaggi didn't make himself look bad enough with his holding. But Hatton, with the impact of the punches, probably would have got Malignaggi out of there if Malignaggi didn't hold so much.
Okay, coming up on HBO this weekend, junior middleweight matchup, Paul Williams, Verno Phillips. You expect Williams to win?
Yeah, he's a lot younger than Phillips, and he's probably a lot hungrier than Phillips, despite the fact that Phillips just recently won a world title. Paul Williams is on a rampage. He's trying to win titles in multiple weight divisions. I think he could possibly win a middleweight title. I think he's on his way to winning the junior middleweight title, and he proved that he can be a dominant welterweight champion who has a win over the best welterweight in the world, Antonio Margarito. So this guy's at the top of his game, and I don't see an older fighter like Verno Phillips holding him back. Okay.
Lennox Lewis will accept $100 million to rematch Vitaly Klitschko. How much you think Lennox is worth to get back into the ring at 43 years old?
To go right back in against Vitaly Klitschko just leaves a big question mark. I'm not sure how much I'd want to see him at this point.
It would get him off the broadcast, though.
Well, in that retrospect,
how much is that worth? How many million?
I'd say about $100 million.
Oh, okay. All right.
But Vitaly Klitschko looks pretty sharp, and Lennox Lewis is still a question mark. And I mean, Lennox Lewis, his last fight against Vitaly Klitschko, he was showing some signs of age. So I mean, you got to consider with the way up how bad he'd look, especially against Klitschko. He still looks like he's at the top of his game.
If it wasn't for the bad cut, do you think Klitschko would have won that fight against Lewis?
I mean, both were tired. I would have probably said that Lennox Lewis would have beat Klitschko if Lewis wasn't as tired. But they were both pretty tired, and Klitschko seemed to have the upper hands. But I'm not sure. It's really difficult to answer a question like that.
Okay, finally, Chris Areola. Why aren't you impressed with Chris Areola based on the heavyweight picture these days? Doesn't he figure right in there with some of the better fighters?
Yeah, he does. He figures right in there with the heavyweight division because he throws a lot of punches. He's pretty fun to watch. He's just not a great heavyweight. He's not a throwback heavyweight. There's nothing that impressive about him as a boxer, really. But as a heavyweight, yeah. He's good enough.
In this day and age, he fits right in, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Okay. And he should have no trouble with Walker?
No, Walker is he's a big guy, and but he has limited boxing skills, and so does Areola, but he puts a lot of pressure, and it's probably going to be hard for Walker to fend him off.
Great. Thanks, Alden, for talking to us. Short broadcast this week. Well, we'll be back next week with our next show. Remember to check out AldenBoxing.com and FightFan.com for more information. Bye-bye.